Hit with yet another sexual assault scandal, the San Diego Police Department is asking for outside help.
Now, over the weekend, Police Chief Bill Lansdowne said he's seeking an outside auditor to take a hard look at how the department handles misconduct. He also hopes it will help weed out rogue cops.
Check to see if we provided the right level of service, did we ask the right questions, did we give the right advice, and did we take proper action. But it will be done at random so that there will be spot checks to make sure the officers are doing the right thing and make sure that the public is satisfied with the service we get.
Last week, Officer Christopher Hayes was arrested after being accused of inappropriately touching women, some during pat-down searches. Before him, Officer Anthony Arevalos was sentenced to almost 9 years in prison after being convicted of demanding sexual favors from women he pulled over in the gas lamp in 2011. The audit could take 6 months to a year and a half to complete.
UT Public Safety Editor Laura Wingard joins us now with more on how the chief plans to regain the public's trust. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
So what is the chief proposing?
He has gotten permission to seek an outside auditor. He's looking at 2 agencies. One's under the Department of Justice, one's a nonprofit organization, to come in and examine how they discipline officers, all their kind of training procedures, things like that, to see if there's improvements that could be made to avoid these kinds of things in the future. And he says he's gotten permission to spend up to $200,000 for this audit, which would take about a year to a year and a half to do.
So let's give the viewers some background. What exactly led up to this?
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit. When the Anthony Arevalos case came up, and this was an officer who now is serving time in prison for sexually assaulting women that he made traffic stops on, the chief put into place new procedures that were supposed to curb this kind of behavior. This case has come up now where an officer, Christopher Hayes, is accused of assaulting women that he stopped while on patrol. And this has given the chief, again, more cause to say, okay, what more do we need to do to make sure that we're finding these kinds of bad actors, if indeed he's convicted? Remember, Hayes is denying that he did anything wrong.
We spoke to Chief Lansdowne. Let's listen to what he had to say about whether people should be concerned.
Should the public be concerned? I think the public should give us a chance to work through it and then take a look at how quickly we responded to it and got to the right conclusion in moving forward with a criminal case. And I think that the public misses it sometime. It is the San Diego Police Department that prosecuted Officer Arevalos and put him in prison. It's the San Diego Police Department that prosecutes misconduct. And here's what's unique about public safety in general. We do something that most professions don't do. We not only investigate misconduct, but we prosecute it.
And there are already some programs in place, some reforms that came after the Arevalos case.
Right. They've changed some of their supervision procedures. They've beefed up internal affairs, which investigates misconduct allegations. The number of investigations by IA have increased since the Arevalos incident. So there have been steps taken.
And I know Chief Lansdowne did have something to say about that, so let's listen to what he had to say.
But each of the divisions, patrol divisions, the entire police department will go back over calls that we get and then check to see if we provided the right level of service, did we ask the right questions, did we give the right advice, and did we take proper action. But it will be done at random so that there will be spot checks to make sure the officers are doing the right thing and make sure that the public is satisfied with the service we get. I think that will go a long way for the product that we produce in the San Diego Police Department.
And that's the chief talking about one of the programs already in place.
Actually, the random stops is something that he's beginning because of the latest case involving Officer Hayes. They hope to have it working by next month, but that would be going back to people who have been stopped to find out how it went. How did that procedure go?
He's also talked about buying the cameras, the body cameras. Right.
Well, last month, accusations came up that there's been racial profiling by the by officers, and the chief has gone before the city council, at least the city council committee, to talk about that. And one of the things he's proposed is outfitting officers with cameras that they'd wear on their lapels. And he thinks that that would curb that kind of behavior. Some people, he would like to do the whole department. I think it's like $2 million.
Wow.
That, he says, would curb a lot of this behavior.
And going back real quick to the two officers in the cases, so we've got Officer Arevalos and Officer Hayes, and in both instances there are women who came forward saying that they were touched inappropriately, and while both officers on duty, right, accusations. There's one attorney and specifically who said that this concerns her and she doesn't feel comfortable stopping if a police officer were to stop her or pull her over. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, she's a retired deputy public defender. She's the head of the local NAACP, and she met with the chief last month about the racial profiling. And now, because of this incident with Officer Hayes, she said basically women have to be afraid of sexual profiling as well. And she said, you know, I've got the experience and the know-how. I'm here to tell you that if a police officer is trying to pull me over in San Diego, I'm not stopping. And she told the chief that. And he said, you know, if you do that, I advise you to call 911 and let them know what's happening and why you're not doing it. So, but like she said, she goes, am I going to tell my young nieces and things like that to do the same thing? That's a hard call to make.
Right, interesting response. All right, UT Public Safety Editor Laura Wingard, thank you so much for joining us this morning.